I've got a little mock-up here to be able to show you how to fix some common errors that might happen during the course of knitting the shawl. And one thing that can be confusing, especially at the beginning when we're working in just garter stitch, is being able to tell which is the right side and which is the wrong side. And if it's trouble, I would suggest labeling the right side or the wrong side, and that will help a lot. Another thing that you can look for, we make yarn overs as we're working the right side. So when you're working the wrong side, you will come to yarn overs to be worked. And a yarn over is pretty easy to identify. You've got these stitches here which have their little bumps snug right up against the needle. But then you'll have something big and open like this, and that's a yarn over. And since I am seeing a yarn over, it means I am working on the wrong side. So that's another way to tell. I am going to work across this row and show you ways to fix mistakes. The mistake that we'll encounter at the end of the row is that I did not put a yarn over there where I'm supposed to. It's you start every row with knit 3, every right side row with knit 3, yarn over, and you end every right side row with yarn over, knit 3, and we've just got a bunch of stitches that were knit there. And then on my way to fixing that mistake, I will show you how to add a stitch if you'd like to, doing a make one. If you find that you're a stitch short or more than a stitch short, you can use that. And I'll show you knit 2 together, which is the easiest way to fix too many stitches. And the only thing I would caution is, let's say you need to make a couple stitches. I wouldn't do them right next to each other. I would place them at least several stitches apart. And I also wouldn't do them right up next to the yarn overs. I think it's probably easier to do a make one for sure out in the center of the work where you don't have a weird stitch like a yarn over to contend with. So I'll get going here. It's knit 3, and then there was supposed to be a yarn over from the right side, and good, it's there, so I just knit it and keep going. And now let's say I've figured out I have too many stitches. I want to get rid of one. I will knit 2 together. When you knit 2 together, you reduce your stitch count by 1. You make 2 stitches into 1, and all you do is enter the stitches as if to knit, but don't do just this one. Go into that second one, wrap your yarn around, pull it through both stitches, and then off the needle. So that's 2 knit together. I've reduced the stitch count by 1. I can show you that again. I have these 2 stitches to make into 1. I enter them both as if to knit, wrap the yarn, pull through both. And now let's say I've realized I'm a stitch short and I need to make one. I think the easiest and most invisible way to do this is to lift the strand that is going between the 2 stitches. It's the strand right on the top between the stitch on your right hand needle and the stitch on your left hand needle. And so pull that up. I go into it from the back with the right hand needle, scoop under. And then with my left hand needle, I enter the front of the stitch, wrap the yarn around the needle, and pull it through. I will show you again. With the right hand needle, lift the strand, enter with the left hand needle in the front, wrap your yarn around the rear needle, and pull through. And why don't I do that again with my right hand, because it might look different. And if you normally hold the yarn in your right hand, then you might be able to see this more easily, see what's happening. So I lift the stitch with my left hand needle, insert my right hand, I lift the stitch with my right hand needle, insert my left hand needle in the front, wrap around, pull through. And one more time, into the strand, with my right hand needle into the stitch with my left hand needle in the front, wrap around, pull through. All right, now I've got one to knit here, and here's the problem where there's the missing yarn over. You can see that these have all been stitches. There's no hole here, but similar to what we were doing with the make one, there is this strand that's in between the two stitches. So I'm just going to mount that strand onto my left hand needle. Make sure it's not twisted. You want it to have the right leg in the front and the left leaning leg in the back. This is the way stitches normally sit on the needle, and it's the way the yarn over should sit as well. And now you just work it. You knit it. And I'll knit right to the end. And that's a little swatch with a lot of mistakes fixed.